told the story to a lot of people, honestly. It wasn't like a secret from the world, but I'm like, I don't ever want to tell my mom because I don't want her to feel bad. I don't want her to like feel guilty. Like after all these years, the last thing I want is her to be like, oh my gosh, I wish I could have protected you more. And I'm like, I'm protecting you, Mom. I'm by keeping the secret, not realizing the detrimental impact. I used to sob in the shower every morning, just hoping that the sound of the water would mask my agony. On the outside, I looked successful, but inside I was crumbling. It took heartbreak, reinvention, and a whole lot of unlearning before I realized this, that the life I was craving wasn't simply going to arrive, I had to create it. Most people are chasing clarity, confidence, or success, but what they really need is to feel safe enough to be fully seen, fully expressed, and fully alive. Welcome to the All Out As Is podcast, a podcast for brave-hearted humans, leaders, visionaries, and world changers ready to stop performing and start living in truth. I'm your host, Adia, mindset coach, dance educator, and walking permission slip, here to help you untangle the pressure, move with purpose, and build a life that feels like freedom. Each week, we dive into mindset, clarity, reinvention, aligned growth, lessons learned from the hard seasons, and the real behind the scenes of building a business and life that feels like freedom. You don't need to become someone new. Just give yourself permission to live all out as is. So take a deep breath and let's begin. Hey, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so thankful, privileged, and excited to be with you today. I have had some pretty incredible transformations over the last few years, and I wanted to share a little bit because I know that what I experience is sometimes we can go through life thinking that things are just the way they are and they'll always be this way and they've always been this way. And I know what I've come to learn is that that's not actually the case. So I wanted to share with you a little story about someone who is close in my life who is on their deathbed, and on the deathbed said, you know, I've had a good life, and also I regret a lot of things. And oh my God, did that like hit me in the freaking heart? Because the last thing I want to hear anyone say on their deathbed is that they have regrets, that they're living their life. They've lived their life. They're at what seems to be the absolute end of their life, and they have regrets. Like there's something aching at them. There's things they wish they would have done or would have said or wouldn't have done or wouldn't have said. And what if there's this possibility that we can live in a reality where we don't have to have regrets because we're doing things, we're changing things, we're experiencing breakthroughs in places that we never imagined they'd be possible. And that's been my story the last few years. And I'll start with the fact that at the beginning of this year, after doing years worth, and I mean, it doesn't feel like years, but man, it has been years worth of really working on myself. Do you ever hear that term, like the work you have to do on yourself? And it just like sounds cringy almost, like, oh my God, like what does this actually even mean? The work I need to do on myself. But what I mean by that is instead of looking on the outside for all the reasons why things are the way they are and all the ways that things could be different out there, I started looking at myself. I started looking internally. And I'll take you back a little bit. Actually, I'll take you back right now. Why not? Hey, let's go down memory lane. You want to join me? I want to take you back to 2022, October 2022. I had just spent the last 3-4 years being in an incredible transformational period. In 2016, I began to enter what would be the most depressing season of my life, where I had actually been kind of chronically depressed, undiagnosed and unbeknownst to me, for a long time. And the doctor had said it started even with postpartum, and it was a postpartum depression that never really fully got remedied. Oh my God, are you kidding? When I heard that, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. But in 2016, it was like the world came crashing down. It was like everything I had ever stuffed, everything I had ever suppressed, everything I had thought I'd let go of suddenly came rushing to the surface. And I often say it felt like a volcano of just horrible emotions, sadness, anger, like all these things. And I'm like, where is this coming from? And it had been things that I'd suppressed. I'm like, why is this coming up now? I let that go 20 years ago. No, I didn't. I pretended I did. I said, I'm fine. I said, there are people who have it way worse than me. Who am I to complain? I said, bloom where you're planted, Adia. Count your blessings. Be content. Which are all really good things. I'm not taking away from those being important, like mindsets. But what was missing was the actual dealing of, the actual feeling through, the actual healing that was necessary for me to be able to move truly forward. But I didn't know that. And honestly, I didn't know what I didn't know. And I can imagine that you may also have some areas of your life where you don't know what you don't know. I'm willing to bet there's probably a few. As human beings go, turns out there's a lot that we don't know. So here's the thing. You know what you know, right? That one's easy. I know how to line dance. I know how to create a podcast. I know how to use ChatGPT. I know how to ride a bike. Then there's what you don't know. I don't know how to drive a stick shift. Still, I know. But I don't know that. I don't know what it's like to live in Portugal. I know that I don't know how to fix a car. You get it? You with me? What don't you know? Or what do you know you don't know? But really, that's a super small piece of the pie, because there is a whole world of what you don't know. And I'm sure that you've got experiences like this all the time. You're like, what? I never even knew that existed. Oh my gosh, the first time I went to a movie theater that had like reclining seats and they served wine, I was like, what are you even talking about? I didn't even know this was a thing. And an even greater example, I had never heard of line dancing in the way that in this whole like country realm, this country dance and country swing. I had never heard of it. I didn't know that down the street from me were 3 line dance honky tonks. 3. I didn't know what I didn't know. So I went to Texas Roadhouse one day and was like, I'm like, is there any dancing here? They're like, no. And I'm like, come on, you guys are like Texas Roadhouse. How is there not dancing here? They're like, no, but you should try one of like the line dance bars that's really like two exits over. And I'm like, what? How is this possible? All that to say, there's a lot that you don't know. And I've been in the process of discovering that in high magnitudes. So 2016, 2017, I entered this really deep depression. Everything comes up. I am just confronted with the world of all the things that I've suppressed. In meeting with therapists, they said it was coping mechanisms. What? I've been coping all this time? And come 2022, fast forward, I have created a new future for myself. I am now single, and I'm now no longer in the marriage that I was in for 20 years. Whole other story. Just let it be that, okay? Amazing man, by the way, amazing man. But I was going through so much, and I didn't realize I didn't realize the impact that decisions that I had made and the things that I hadn't said were really having on my mental health and my psyche and all these things. So all that to say, 2022, I find myself divorced, and actually it had been at least a year plus of my separation and divorce, and I had been in another dating relationship where I was really, it was kind of like the first one after being married for so long, and it was really special and it was really important to me, but we knew it really wasn't what was best for us. And so when we decided to call it off and go our separate ways romantically, man, I was left in a space of like, what now? Like, what does life even look like now? And instead of going out there and looking at out there and trying to figure things out from this perspective of looking outside, I started to look inside. And it started with my first podcast. I was actually looking for a divorce podcast, to be honest with you. But what I found in the search was Manifestation Babe, Catherine Zinkina. And what she was talking about was just so empowering and giving like me energy. And it was like I could feel this energy coming from her through the podcast. And so I kept listening, and she'd have an experience or an offer, and I would dive into it. And I landed within her Manifestation Babe Academy, where you spend 5 months looking at parts of your life that you haven't peeled back in years, or maybe never. Parts of your life that you've never even thought to peel back. And over that next year, I went through some incredible soul searching, and I became even happier, even more content, even more solid, even more clear of things that I didn't even realize were burdening me, were holding me down. And I was like, wow. I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know that I really did. I needed to go in here. I needed to backtrack. I needed to figure out why I didn't mourn fully my dad's death when I was 15 years old and he died suddenly. I needed to figure out why and learn and go back there and heal from the many times that I had been sexually molested as a kid, thinking it had no bearing on me. That was in the past. I let that go. It's no big deal. No big deal. It's a big deal. So I did. After the next year, I jumped into a coaching academy because I really wanted to learn how to hear people. Like, man, people. I went through so much on my own, and there were so few people in my life who like even knew how to listen for the things that were going on with me that could have maybe been my saving grace or been something that kind of threw me a lifeline. I'm like, I want to learn how to listen like that. So I went through the Quantum Coaching Academy with Ashley Gordon, and I did 8 months of learning about life coaching and how to listen and how to communicate and how to just like see things in perspectives and from perspectives that I'd never seen before. And I learned so much more about myself, again, by going internally and practicing with and in and of myself, as well as with peers, and then with my everyday life and with my business partners, my kids, and I was like, wow, what a transformation. Like, wow, I am a different listener and communicator than I was before, 100%. And I didn't even think there was anything wrong with the way I listened or communicated. I had no idea what was on the other side of this possibility that there's actually more. After that, I dove into some other like business training, and I went into Mastermind. Oh my gosh, the Mentor Collective Mastermind with Chris and Lori Harder, y'all, so incredible. And I got insights and tips and things that were peeling away not only at my business, but at like, who am I and who am I becoming and who do I want to be and who do I need to be in order to become the type of business person or leader or mom or girlfriend or anything. Like, I had to go into that. And it was so enlightening, and I didn't know what I didn't know. And it was incredible. And I gained so much insight And I'm like, oh my gosh, just hungry for more masterminds and more ways that I'm able to look at my life and improve it. And most of that is coming from within. Most of it is coming from realizing that I'm in an incredible position right now. And I have incredible possibility to be even more than I can imagine and to have everything I ever dreamed of, even beyond what I can imagine at this time. And then this year, when I thought there were no more breakthroughs to have, there were I've done a lot of growth, a lot of learning. And okay, here's the new starting point, right? Let's go from here. I was rocked when in January I attended the Landmark Forum. And I did so with my son, my oldest son, and my former husband. And we did this thing together, and it's a weekend. And let me tell you, when I say 3 days, you spend 3 days taking a look at what is going on and how to identify these disempowering contexts that we've created for ourselves, and then we've built a castle around it, and then we've built a moat to the castle to protect ourselves from experiencing what really is going on and what's really so. And in 3 days, y'all, it was like 3 years worth of coaching, 3 years worth of therapy, 3 years worth of studying and programs in one weekend. And I was blown away. I was absolutely blown away. And I had a breakthrough when it came to a secret that I had been keeping since I was 5 years old. 5 years old. This secret I was keeping from my mom, and it was so lame and innocent. It was so lame. It had to do with me taking a bite of a peach and lying about it when I was 5. Okay, hold on. Let me back up, because that was one of the secrets. That was one of the secrets. But that was not the big one. That was not the big one. The big one was actually that I was molested when I was 5. And I was so afraid to tell my mom and my dad. And I was like, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get this person in trouble. I will be fine. This is okay. And I thought that I stuffed it down. And it happened more than once with different people. But I never shared it with my mom. And I told the story to a lot of people, honestly. It wasn't like a secret from the world, but I'm like, I don't ever want to tell my mom, because I don't want her to feel bad. I don't want her to feel guilty. Like, after all these years, the last thing I want is her to be like, oh my gosh, I wish I could have protected you more. And I'm like, I'm protecting you, Mom. I'm by keeping the secret, not realizing the detrimental impact that I'd created for myself for years in keeping this secret. It affected everything. I didn't know it, though. I'm telling you, I didn't think it did until I really started to look at it over the last few years. And then this past January at the Landmark Forum, when I realized, wow, I can now actually see, I could pencil in the ways that this has actually disrupted things in my life, in my relationships, in my self-image. And I had that breakthrough there. And I shared it with my mom. And that's a whole story for another time, but let's just say it went really well. And she wasn't regretting her life and, all the things, but she was very, very understanding, and it was a great conversation. And I'm like, whoa, the freedom that exists on the other side of a breakthrough like that is unreal. And then I watched, because at this event, there was 100 people, and there was another 80 people online. And I watched people have these real-time breakthroughs day after day, moment after moment, in really hard. I mean, you could hear a pin drop in this room with the way the coaches were helping bring, the main coach was helping bring this breakthrough, helping people experience their breakthrough. And through other people's realizations, I was also able to realize more things about myself. And I thought, man, that Landmark Forum was legit. Surely I have now done everything. There is no more breakthroughs. What else could I be hiding? Truly, what else could be chipping away at me that I don't even know about? I must have reached the bottom of this pit. But no, After the forum, they have a 10-week, what they call seminar. And it's like basically 10 weeks of coaching on certain areas. Like you kind of start to look again at these different areas of your life. And it's really is forward movement. Okay, so let's keep moving forward. It's a coaching. It's amazing. And I ended up having a huge breakthrough in a relationship that I had really been inauthentic about for a long time. And I would never have said it that way, but through the Landmark Forum and through that program, I realized, wow, I really am being inauthentic. And when I came when I came to that realization, then I chose to come like kind of clean with it and complete it and share it and let it be something that doesn't keep holding me back in this relationship. It was received so well and so graciously. And now the whole rest of my life gets to be different because I had that one conversation. Like the whole rest of my life gets to be different. Man, I can't help but think like, where in your life could you use a breakthrough? Where in your life are you feeling stuck? Where in your life have you been trying all sorts of things or maybe ignoring and stuffing and coping and being like, I don't need it? What's it? Who knows? I don't even know. I don't even know what I don't know. I'm just wondering, like, where might that be for you? So I'll kind of like wrap up a bit with saying, after doing the forum, and then I did the seminar, the 10-week seminar, and then both me, my oldest son, and my former husband chose to also do the next course, which is called the advanced course. And let me just tell you, I started off this, now this one was online. So it was a weekend, it was online. I started off on Friday. We had to meet in these groups. And I started off, so the groups were there to hold us accountable for us to like, now we're not just individual, now we're like, there's a group setting a little bit. But even in the online, we go to these breakout rooms. And I started that weekend saying, I will never. Okay, there is one thing I will never do. Don't ask me. Don't try to hold me accountable. I know this one is messing with me and I'm leaving it right there. There is way too much hurt, way too much pain, way too much betrayal, way too many lies, way too many cheats. I am not doing it. I am not going back to that. I am not having that conversation. Don't even. And my group was like, got ya. Okay, Adia. Pretty passionate about that. Sure you don't want to touch on that? Nope, I do not. Let me tell you, by Sunday, after hearing the stories, oh gosh, I would love to share with you some of the stories. They were just crazy impactful. Like the kinds of things that you're like, I can't believe that actually happened. Like, I can't believe, like how incredibly painful, how incredibly sad, how incredibly hard. But after hearing all those and ultimately the leader of that, the coach of that program, really sharing and in real time, being vulnerable, being coachable, being like so human, I was like, man, I need to talk to these people. And the thing that I said I would never do, by Sunday, I picked up the phone and I called. And I made those calls and I made connection and I had the conversation. And I'm so thankful. And I'm free. Oh my God, I'm free. And I'm like, truly, that has to be it, right? There can't be any more breakthroughs. But this platform, the Landmark, this company, they are out to make such a huge difference in the world. And they don't stop. They have more training, more coaching, more opportunity for you to get involved so that, because as the individual is impacted, the world is impacted, the community, the family, and beyond. And I mean, I'm like, dang, I am on board with this. I am on board with their mission of making the world a place that works for everyone. So, as I hope I've conveyed, I am constantly on this journey of becoming. And I realize that it is a mountain that has no end. And that gets to be really amazing. That gets to be incredible. That gets to be something that I can look forward to. And I look forward to uncovering more things that are holding me back because I don't know what I don't know. And I'm really thankful for the opportunities that have been presented to me. I'm really thankful for everyone who's come alongside me, everyone who's been a part of some of the activities or the events that I've created. And I'm just in awe and so full of gratitude for this life. And I don't even know if it's good to share right now, but the person that I referred to earlier, just in this podcast, I just got word that they actually passed away right now, a few minutes ago. Man, I'm so present to like how fragile life is, how beautiful life is. And I know that I want to continue to live without regrets. I want to continue to live in a way that inspires and empowers me, the people around me, my family, my community, and ultimately the world. And I want that for you too. I want you to live the best life ever and every day be the best day ever, and just be able to really, really be so proud of the person that you've chose to become by choice. I hope this was impactful and empowering. If it was, I'd love to hear about it. And I'm really excited to continue on this journey. And I'm stoked if you'll come alongside with me. And I want to hear your stories. And I'd really appreciate if you share this message with someone who could really benefit from hearing it. All right, until next time, live all out, as is your way. Thank you so much for being here. And if this episode brought you clarity, gave you a shift, or helped you feel more alive, I'd love it if you shared it with a fellow leader, dreamer, or visionary in your life. I always love hearing what resonates with you, so please feel free to send me a DM, and it would mean so much to me if you left a 5-star review to help more people find this space. If you're ready to take this deeper, check the show notes for ways we can work or grow together. Whether you're leading from a stage, in your community, or in your own healing, just remember this. Your power isn't in who you're trying to become, it's in who you already are. So keep showing up, keep moving forward, and keep living all out as is.